our Audacy NFL insider, and he was there in Metairie and feeling that cool breeze of South Louisiana, Brian Baldinger. Brian, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Bobby, good to join you guys, man. It was a little bit of a cool breeze while they scrimmaged yesterday. It did get quite a bit hotter afterwards. I stuck around for a while, but it wasn't bad during the scrimmage yesterday.
Now, go ahead, Mike.
Baldy, one of the things I'll ask you, and then I'll throw it to Bob, is I know you do a lot of work kind of breaking down guys as they come out of college, and you got to see him yesterday, Kelvin Banks Jr., and your impressions of him, first of all, coming into the draft, and after you've seen him, because we all know how important it is. Can you handle your guy on obvious third down situations, if it's as a pass protector, also as a run blocker? But I'll get your thoughts on Saints' first-round pick, Kelvin Banks Jr.
Well, they plugged him. They plugged him right in at left tackle, just like he did when he came out of Humble, Texas, a suburb of Houston there, and went to University of Texas and started day one. I mean, they're plugging him right in at left tackle right now. It's a big position of need since they moved Fuago over to right tackle. And he was going up in large part in that scrimmage that Kellen Moore was talking about. He went in large part against Chase Young for most of the day, and he had some success out there yesterday. Some people thought maybe he's a guard. I think he's a tackle, and I thought he looked good. It was a lot of plays out there run yesterday. 126 plays, like Kellen said, will assimilate a game. And I thought he stood pretty tall in there yesterday.
Yeah, Baldy, he was standing tall, but Chase Young, I think, would give him the business early in the season. Now, how he progresses, now I have high expectations for Chase Young, not only to get quarterback hurries or quarterback pressures, but possibly we need that from the Saints to finish the deal and get those double-digit sacks. But I think that's good for him because going against a guy like Chase Young, and he looks like Tarzan. I mean, he is yoked. You don't want him playing like Jane. You want him to almost overperform. You look at Trey Henderson with the Bengals, and he was once in a Saints uniform. But Chase Young's the sky the limit. Early in the season, I would give Chase Young the advantage for sure. Now, but that's good for him, how you develop as a tackle, because you need to go against stiff competition.
No, it's good. It's good for him. Chase had a pretty good day out there yesterday. He looks like he's in great shape. And, for Chase, if he wants to – he was once the second pick of the draft, and, he actually lived up to that. He's made a bunch of different stops in this business right now. But, this is a great opportunity for him. They've kind of – he's earned that position. Now let's see him go out there, in this new defense that Brandon Staley's running. I want to see him play well and win some one-on-ones and start affecting the quarterback like he once did in Washington a few years ago.
Now, Baldy, when you look at it, and you're going all around the league, and y'all do a great job with NFL Network and all that, but when you look at 126 plays run from scrimmage, I know the measuring stick is always like 65 plays from scrimmage. It can be over or under there, but that's like 2 games in one. Yep. When you look at that, a majority of them were passes. So, you want to see what the quarterbacks could do. But the way I look at it, I usually look at the glass half full. But all I know is 126 plays, and you look like Shuck. I mean, he opened practice hot as could be, completing each of his 8 passes on a touchdown drive. But that was the only touchdown drive on the day by the offense. Now we had 2, maybe 3. I'd be more optimistic. But I said, all I know is our defense better be kicking butt. Now, they're over and under 5.5 wins and where we're at. But I don't know. It just seems like, and you might say early in camp and all, the defense always has the edge over the offense. But you're running that many plays and you only have 1 offensive touchdown, that's not good.
Well, they kicked a lot of field goals. They didn't move the ball. But they threw a couple red zone. They threw a couple red zone interceptions, Bobby, which you never want. They did. I stood behind, the offense with Kellen and Scott Linehan and Doug Nussmeier for much of the day, and the ball did come out of both Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler's hands. It did come out pretty good. With some location and with timing, some of the things that you're looking to do. And so there was periods where they looked pretty good. But I have never seen an intra-squad scrimmage with that many plays before. I mean, I just had now Kool-Aid had himself a nice interception, and they took the ball away at times. But I just thought overall it was a good day of work. Nobody was griping, nobody was bitching, Bobby. They all kind of are buying in. And like Kellen said, he's just calling plays. There's no script, and so everybody had to kind of react. I was very interested in the offensive line and watching them work together. Trevor Penning at left guard and Caesar at right guard. And I was interested in seeing just how they would perform. And because I think it's going to be the strength of this football team, pretty quickly in this season.
Baldy, along those lines, they better be because that's where you've invested your draft picks. It's really a first-round draft pick offensive line. And you know who has gotten better? And I'm telling you, we need this. And I never worried about McCoy at center. I think he's amongst the better centers, top 5 for sure in the NFL. But Cesar Ruiz, to me, has gotten better as a pass protector. And I think that's going to bode well. I think Trevor Penning at left guard, I think he's going to play with more confidence. We know he can come off the ball and maul people. But your take on Cesar Ruiz, because I think, when you're a first-round draft pick, much is given, much is required, high expectations. But I thought he's gotten better as a pass blocker.
Well, I'm a big fan of Caesar. I've known him a long time. He's from Camden, New Jersey, and we work out together in the off-season some years. He had a battle through that foot injury of his from 2 years ago. But he looks bigger to me, Bobby. He looks bigger, and he looks more physical right now. He's always been super smart. He's a guy that's not going to blow any fuses. He's not going to blow assignments. Mentally, he's going to be really plugged in. He's a very bright guy, very well-spoken, but he looks bigger. And so maybe what you're saying is, pass protection-wise, I think he's more equipped right now to handle some of the better pass rushers inside because of his increased size and strength.
Now, Baldy, when you look at, there's always dark horses in every training camp, and they could be a veteran. They could be a 5-year veteran. They could be 2 or 3 years. They could be 10 years. And I'm just looking at, a different scheme. You look at Coach Staley and what they're going to do now. And to me, guys who have flashed, and now you got to see what they could do in the last preseason game in week 1 when they play the Chargers come Sunday afternoon. But like Jonah Williams, okay, I'm looking at him from Weber State. They got him free agent from the Lions. I'm looking at Jonathan Bullard, now a 10-year veteran out of Florida. You could see him putting pressure. And then Chris Rupp. Looking at him, 5-year guy out of Duke, and you just look at, that would have been a sack, or, they don't take the quarterback to the ground, but they'd had an opportunity. What do you think of those veterans contributing that I mentioned, those 3 guys? And then one guy that has flashed is the rookie from Wake Forest, Jasheen Davis. Now you have to look at who he's going against. Well, Bobby, he's beating guys that aren't even going to be playing on Sunday. But those are guys that caught my attention and you end up taking notes on.
Well, for example, Chris Rumpf, I know him pretty good. Like Brandon Staley had him with the Chargers. I don't think he's ever been given a great opportunity to go just take a job. But you have to look at a guy like, Devon Godchow, that's been in New England. He's a LSU kid. He's a big, wide body inside. I feel like they've got a lot of depth on the defensive front right now. They're going to be very multiple. Nathan Shepard has played well in a couple different spots. I feel like some of these guys inside, Colin Saunders has been with the Kansas City Chiefs. These guys have played good football for good defenses. And so I do feel like they've got some depth there that they can rotate these guys in. And I feel like it's going to benefit them over the course of a long season.
Baldy, one of the things last year, we talked so much about the injuries up front along the offensive line. And, man, listen, you can say next man up, but the next man ain't as good as some of the guys they were losing, especially with a guy like Eric McCoy. But in losing your top two receivers in Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, I don't care who's starting at quarterback, if it's Spencer Rattler or if it's Tyler Shuck, a big key to this season is to have those two guys healthy to give you that vertical threat, which they really Marquez Scanling, he gave you a little bit of it as a deep catcher last year, but to have those two guys back, I think, is key offensively for this team.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. I mean, he can run by anybody. He did yesterday, caught a little out route and then turned it up and, was taking it to the house. Nobody's going to catch him from behind. Like, I'm a big fan of Shaheed and what he's been able to do, the big plays that he has turned in, and, when he's been healthy. And, Olave played 8 games last year. Like, they need him to be really, really good. Bringing Brandon Cooks back, I don't disagree with it. Like, they've got speed at that position. And so now it's a question of, can they get the ball down the field to get the explosive plays right now?
And Baldy, along those lines with the receiver, like there was 2 or 3 incidents. You can't do it every now and then. If you had 4 opportunities, say, for contested catch, you can't get 1 out of 4. You might think it's not a big difference, but you got to get at least 2, if not 3 out of the 4 to help these young quarterbacks. Okay, if it hits you in the hands, I know the DB's right there, and it's hard. But to me, that's the separation. You're trying to make the team to impress the coaches and all and have confidence from the quarterbacks. Make those contested catches. I mean, that is critical no matter what team in the NFL when you see that. Because a lot of times, like you always say, like throw a receiver open. I remember like Drew Brees highlights with Jimmy Graham. That there's no way that Jimmy Graham was open. Drew Brees threw him open, but then he came down with the ball. I mean, that's a lot of times fans don't understand that he can't get open, whatever, or that was a tough catch. Well, hell, you got to make the tough catch. You got to make those contested catches. That's how you win games and move the sticks.
There's no doubt. I mean, I saw Juwan Johnson drop one right in his hands yesterday. I mean, he's got to catch that ball. And so the tight end, there's no question, that given the opportunity, you got to make those plays. And, I lost track of how many different guys caught touchdown passes from Drew Brees, over the course of his career.
Right.
I mean, it was in the 70s, guys that you never heard of and never caught another touchdown pass after Drew was done, or if they moved on. So there's a lot of that to it. The quarterback has got to give you an opportunity, but at the end of the day, you got to come up and do your part too. The quarterback can give you the opportunity, but it really is up to the players. They want to earn a spot on this team. That's what you got to do in this business right now.
Now, Baldy, looking at the young guys, look at the rookies and how they're going to contribute. You always want those diamonds in the rough, whether like a Marcus Colston, 7th round. Remember Zach Strief, who's now coaching with Sean Payton and the Broncos. But, boy, playing with a lot of confidence, and he's getting it done, and that bodes well for the Saints in the future and provide depth right now is Danny Stutzman. To me, that's a hit, a 4th-round pick. I mean, a draft pick. Now, 4th round, have we had a lot of success? No, but I remember the impact Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had in 2019. We drafted him in the 4th round. Yep. So you look at like a Danny Stutzman. I think he's playing with a lot of swagger, confidence. Also drafted in the 4th round, Quincy Riley, the cornerback out of Louisville. He's had a couple of interceptions. Now they're both against Spencer Rattler. So those are just 2 young guys that it seems like they look like they belong, and they're just not trying to make the team.
I think you're totally right, Bobby. Stutzman came out of Oklahoma, and I talked to Demario Davis about him yesterday. And, Pete Warner has, been in that position. A lot of guys have been in that position next to Demario over 8 years since he's been here. But he's a guy that he singled out. Like, I don't think it's far-fetched that he could win that other job. I'm not saying Pete's not going to get it, and he's not the guy. But I think Danny's going to push him. Like, he just looks like, you talk about the swag, and the swagger's real. Like, I feel like that's a guy that could step in and upgrade this defensive front. I think Justin Reed coming in from Kansas City is a guy that has done a lot of great things in that defense in Kansas City since he left Houston. It was a great signing. Now, obviously with Tyrann Mathieu retiring. There's a big opening there at safety right now. I think he can help fill that. But yeah, I think Stunsman's a guy that I think you can look at. And look, I think there's still a corner short. I mean, I saw Isaac Yadams start yesterday, but it's not to say that Quincy Riley can't go out there and challenge him, because I think we feel pretty good about Kool-Aid at one corner.
Right.
I think we feel pretty good, about Alante in the slot where he's been really good. But I feel like the other corner, there's an opening there for somebody to step up and take that job.
Baldy, one of the guys that I know they're really counting on up front along the defensive line is Brian Baldinger. And we saw the flashes of him, certainly as a pass rusher. Now, the way he's built, he's sort of real tall cut, so he's got to learn how to play a little bit lower, get a little bit better leverage when he's playing the run. But they are really counting on him because he's a unique guy for a 300-pound guy, the way he can get up the field and be disruptive.
Well, look, he was a first-round pick for a reason. And, he really has not delivered yet. Not to say that he can't. Maybe, Brandon Staley can unlock something in him to become a better force inside. They're going to be pretty multiple, 3-4 looks and 4-3 looks. They're going to be pretty multiple. It's going to give him an opportunity. But ultimately, he's a 3-technique defensive tackle, all right, that needs to affect the quarterback more than he has. And, look, I don't think that they have been very good at drafting on the defensive line, Peyton Turner and, just the guys that have come through here.
Davenport and Baldy, Davenport, he was hell when he was well, but he was never well. I mean, they heard the Vikings and Lions, they're paying him like $10 million because based on his potential, but he's always hurt. I mean, Peyton Turner, Davenport, I mean, it was like, come on, dude, come on.
I know. Look, Bobby, you draft these guys, you're not going to hit on every one of them, but they've missed a lot. And I don't know if Brzee is going to be in that category or not yet. But those when you hit on those guys, your defense is a lot better. You affect the quarterback. It's the foundation to your team, and so it's been a revolving door there. I mean, obviously they let the wrong guy go in Trey Hendrickson. That was a guy that they should have kept. Granderson has been good. Especially considering where he's been drafted. But honestly, they missed on not keeping, Trey, where he could have been a big answer to what they're trying to do. They've been trying to replace him, and they haven't done it.
Well, we didn't keep Zach Bond. we didn't keep Caden Ellis. I don't know. He's pretty good with Atlanta. And then Zach Bond, he was Defensive Player of the Year. So I don't know, the scouting department getting the right players. But the coaches got to give him that opportunity, then obviously take advantage of that. So,
there's no doubt, no question. Zach Bond easily could have been the Defensive Player of the Year last year. What he did in Philadelphia, he was amazing.
Brian, thanks so much for joining us. Do a great job, and so much enjoy when you guys go from place to place. You do a super job breaking down all 32 teams.
All right, Baldy.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Bobby. I'll talk to you guys soon.